Last. You're last. I can tell from here. It's a Ricky Bobby thing. I'm really late tonight. I didn't get here till late, though. We have that on these big jobs. This is a big job, yes.
What you think about?
They're all big jobs when I get on the job.
Into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, we kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, hate is based.
I don't know. Let's just do drugs, maybe.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome everybody. I'm Will Bird, and this is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Welcome. We're late again. If I'm late this often, isn't that just the new normal? I don't know, but we're here. Anyways, Christy, no.
About the debate.
Well, we still don't know what Kamala Harris would do if she was given the opportunity to be president. That's
But
what I think
it was
it's
a fierce debate, though, right?
No, it wasn't.
Well, would you say it was a dogfight?
I would say that the President Trump did a fantastic job taking on three people at one time.
Do you think either of them was put down by the other?
Ooh.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't worried about that. I'm worried about the American people and if they're going to find out who Kamala Harris really is.
But if either of them were put out of their misery on the debate stage, which one was it?
Ooh.
Sorry, I guess I was just wondering if you killed that dog.
What are you talking about?
Did you kill the dog?
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
It has been so hard to get answers to any questions here. Sir, you're on the cord there. What did you think about the debate?
Well, we still don't know what Kamala Harris would do if she was given.
That was sneaky. That was sneaky. Sneaky sneakster. Jesus. Austin sent me a bunch of videos from Hallover, which is that inlet we were watching the other night that I got hung up on. He sent a bunch of them. We might be going down the same road. Damn. God, that's a hard hit. And these people are probably chartering these boats or their buddy has a boat. I don't know, but that bitch ain't getting back up. She's done. That's just where she lives now. God, it looks painful. I saw one guy that fucking had to fracture his spine earlier today. Ugh. Oh, she hit her fucking face, dude. Hold on, let me zoom in. She had to have hit her face. Maybe that's her plastic surgeon's boat, so he can fix it or something. I don't know. Jesus Christ. She's checking for blood. Checking to make sure all her teeth are there. You can hear it on the drone. Perfect. This is a full-length video. Top 5 pontoon boat fails at Hallover. Pontoons are usually big and slow. It's got to be tough to get out. But they're almost unsinkable, right? If the pontoons don't take in water, they're almost unsinkable. Because there's just two big sealed fucking air cages. He's also drowning everybody on board. I mean, other than just timing it perfect, what do you do? And how do you even time it perfect, you know? You'd have to have like immediate throttle response, and boats just don't have that. They don't have brakes. I think the problem with the pontoon boat would be like when you stuff it into a wave, you've lost all your momentum. It's just gonna stop like hitting a fucking wall. Definitely, the kids should be wearing life jackets through this inlet, for sure. Everybody probably should, but at minimum the kids. Mom's trying to get the littlest baby. After a few stuffings, he decides to turn around. This is a different boat. Holy shit. That looks like it's going down, bro. Pretty bad parenting, I would agree. Now they're trying to get life jackets. Panic. And it doesn't look like anybody told the kids to do it. The kids are just panicked enough to do it. When did we become a boat channel? He's trying to bury that son of a bitch. There's not a lot of way up, like way up above the pond. It'd be extremely hard to roll a pontoon boat. Right? It seems like it would want to stay upright. But once you get all that weight of the water on the front half of it, it looks like it's going down. Ooh. We got him starting to panic. I think, yeah, too many people up front. I think I'd put everybody in the back and try to get the nose up as high as I could. Those boats are more like a raft. All over fucks over all the boats. I don't know if I'd even take a pontoon boat through here. I imagine a pontoon boat like being on the fucking lake. Maybe like a slow-moving river. Now he's telling people to sit up front. Yeah, I think you need something that you can bring up on plane, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a boat guy. I've been on, I don't know, a boat maybe 100 times in the lake and maybe 5 times in the ocean. That one's numbered almost like a fucking, oh God, the anchor went over. That one's numbered like a rental. You think that's a rental boat? The anchor went over. They're fucking anchored. Or dragon anchor, I guess. Ooh. That's got to be scary if you don't know anything about boats. Like, it'd be scary for me because I don't know if the guy's like, this is just something you have to go through, or if the guy's getting ready to kill us all. Would you take your family through Haulover on a pontoon? Absolutely not. No, we are not recovered. We're fucked. But, oh well. We'll just be fucked till we're not, I guess. There's hardly anybody on that one is still getting fucked over. Is that them coming back in later? Damn, it stops them dead, bro. That's gotta feel like you're going down with a ship. Anyways, I was watching one of their videos earlier. Let's see. Was it this? I think it was this video I watched. What the fuck else is playing? How was that playing and not playing? This one's pretty bad. Memorial Day weekend. Dude, that guy had to fracture his tailbone. Look at how much pain he's in. He doesn't sit back up the rest of the video. He lays down and his wife holds him. Here's another view of it. Watch. he lands so hard on his ass. He lands so hard on his ass. Nothing touches him. He lands so hard on his ass, his hat pops off his head. Dude, he had to break some shit. How do you hit your ass so hard that it comes out your fucking head? That's insane. He's probably 6 inches shorter than when he got on that boat this morning. Look, his hat's gone. There it goes in the ocean. Nothing hit his hat. His spine came up through the fucking skull or some shit. I don't know. He doesn't sit back up the rest of the time. He just lays there. He's got to be hurt, right? He's fucked. He's fucked. That's a grown man crying on the bow of a boat. These people get pissed at the guy driving the boat. Fucking cussing at him, yelling and shit. Turn around. We're done. That one guy got a boat seat cushion enema. Like, something came out the top of his head. We can all agree. Oh, I fell one time. Oh my God. The worst I've ever been, the worst I've ever been hurt, I think, like working. We were loading a tractor and trailer full of hay. And we loaded like half of it, and then we had to run and go do something, and came back and they loaded the rest of it. And typically, I'm breaking out the art pad. Typically, when we loaded this tractor trailer, it doesn't have a rear door. Okay? So when we would load the tractor and trailer full of square bales, this is what I used to do when I was like back home off the road or whatever. I would help a guy out that owns a bunch of hay. But anyways, there's no rear door on the trailer. So if this is the trailer, right, and we're looking at the back of it, typically what you would do is like maybe 5 feet from the door, you would have one row, right? And then you'd step it off. So the next one would be like this. And then the next one would be 3, right? That way you don't have to worry about that rear door, because hay, if you stack it right, locks into itself, right? There's a way to stack hay. It's not like this, but each piece has like a key piece that locks the row below it. And then all the way up to you got, I think that would be five rows or whatever. But anyways, you do all the rows until like up here, the rest of the trailer's full from this point forward. Okay? We loaded out half of it to where we had just started stepping it down. Well, probably more than half of it, 3/4 of it, to where we just started stepping it down. When we came back from loading it, it was loaded all the way to the fucking end like this. right? All the way to, like, there was like this much room before the end of the trailer. And I'm like, as soon as I pull out, these bales are going to fall. They weren't stacked. They weren't locked in together. There was nothing holding them. There's no door to close, right? It's just an open trailer. So the young kids that did it, we started talking, and we were like, well, should we unload it? It's kind of dangerous to unload. There's nowhere to stand. Should we unload it? Should we try to, whatever. So the plan we came up with is like, here's the tractor and trailer. This is the trailer. We backed a pickup truck to the tractor and trailer. Okay. So here's a pickup truck backed up to it. And the tailgate's here. Okay. And then there's a big ass fucking pintle hitch on the back of this thing. That should have been the first sign that this thing was back. Like a solid chunk of fucking like 50 pounds of metal, pintle hitch on the back of the truck. And the plan we came up with was, if we were looking at the back of the trailer, like this box is the back of the trailer, we put a load stop in the middle, which is like a bar that you like kind of ratchet out. We put a load bar in the middle from side to side, and we had 2 ratchet straps. And what we were going to do was hook a ratchet strap in this corner, bring it this way, hook a ratchet strap in this corner, bring it this way, and it would be very hard. The only place that a bale of hay could fall out would be like dead center, and not even width-wise, like narrow-wise, okay? That's if we could pull this off. So me and one other guy were there working. His name's Bob, and we were working. So we got the load bar in like this way. So let's do this trailer, I guess, 3D. Got the load bar in this way. Right? So that's in the middle. And then we hooked a ratchet strap down here and ran it to this corner, and I hooked it with a stick that ended up breaking. Right? That's all we had was a stick, and I ended up breaking it. So then we hooked a ratchet strap down here, and I stood on the top of this truck right here. And I was standing here. That's me, standing there on the back of the pickup truck. And I had the other end of the ratchet strap in my hand. And the goal was to take that ratchet strap and reach in here and hook it. Okay? That was the goal. I was going to take the ratchet strap and hook it to that corner. And it was just out of reach. It was just out of reach. I tried like 3 or 4 times. It was just out of reach. Because the thing we were hooking to wasn't all the way back on the edge. It was just out of reach. I could almost reach it. The trucks weren't getting any closer. There was nothing else we could do. It was just out of reach. I was hot and I was aggravated. Bob was hot and he was aggravated. And I was like, fuck it. And in my head, this is what I thought was going to happen. I knew that when I reached far enough to hook it, I was probably going to be out of balance. Like I wasn't going to be able to come back. Okay? But I knew the hay was there, so maybe I could stick my foot and step on the hay bale and like get some balance. 1 foot on the hay bale, 1 foot on whatever. And I also thought, as long as I hook the hook, I'll have the strap in my hand. So worst case scenario, I'm just hanging from the fucking strap, right? As long as I hook the hook. As long as I hook the hook. I did not hook the hook, okay? I went and reached, overextended way too far, lost balance, and I had one shot. It was almost like in slow motion. I had one shot to hook it, and I fucking missed. Dude, I missed it by like a fucking 1/8 of an inch. Missed. And I fell. Forward into the hay. I tried to step into the hay, but then my back foot come loose from like where I had like footing on the tailgate. So I fell and kind of went over this ratchet strap, down in between, upside down, in between the load block. It gave way, right? It was falling with me, a big ass fucking 8-foot long metal pole, and somehow ended up with my back it was like ping pong. I kept hitting shit on the way down. I don't know what I was fucking hitting. Kept hitting shit on the way down. somehow ended up with my back, the dead center of my back. I was bent over this fucking hitch, face up, looking at this metal bar coming down and smacked me right in my goddamn mouth. So not only was I like splayed out like this, back bent over this thing, that fucking load lock came down and hit me right in the fucking mouth. Like, it didn't hit my nose. It like went like sideways, hit me right in the fucking mouth. And the goddamn hook that I was still holding on to in the strap swung around and hit me right in the fucking top of the head. Like, as my body came to a stop, split my head open and everything. Bob was standing here watching, right? And all I heard Bob say was, "Oh my God." Oh my God. And I'm the type of person, like, if I'm in pain, I don't need people asking me if I'm okay. I don't want people to fucking touch me. I don't want to. So, like, I was in so much fucking pain. So much fucking pain. That as soon as I could roll off the hitch, I was basically, like, rolled off under the hitch, kind of underneath the tractor and trailer, like over here in this area. I crawled forward till I could stand up, and I was just trying to walk it off. I felt like if I stopped fucking walking, that was just going to be it. I was going to fucking die or lock up, or I wasn't going to be able to move. So I was just going to walk it off. So Bob's like, I don't even remember what he said, but he's trying to make sure I'm okay or whatever. And I just fucking start walking off through a field, cussing, throwing shit. Took my shirt off and was holding it, and there was just blood running down all over my fucking face. It was coming out of my mouth and off the top of my head. And Bob's running behind me trying to dust hay off of me. Like, he's like running. It looks like he's swatting me in the fucking field. Anyways, that went on for seven or 8 minutes, probably just walking through this fucking field in one direction. And finally, I get my shirt back on. It's covered in blood and shit. I throw it back on, hop in the truck, and drive it. And it hurts. It hurts bad. He's trying to convince me to go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm not going to the hospital. And he's like, oh, come on, Todd will pay for it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'll get it. It's fine. Whatever. I'm walking. Whatever. Anyways. So we get to the Ford place. The guy that's doing the hay owns the Ford place. We get to the Ford place to park this load. And we park it, whatever, set the brakes, lock the truck up. Bob gives me a ride home. The next morning, I come back to the Ford place to meet Bob that morning. And the owner of the farm and the Ford dealership is there, Todd. And Todd says, "Are you okay?" Like, he's just like staring at me when I first come in. And he's like, "Are you okay? I didn't think you'd be here." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Bob told me like you had like a really bad fall." He's like, "If you don't want to be here, we'll pay you for the day. Just go home and rest, whatever." He's like, he told me like it was fucking bad. Like, he thought you had broken bones. And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And he's like, "No, you're not good. Well, why don't you just go home? We'll take the load, whatever." And I was like, "Well, I'm already here. Like, I can do it." And he's like, "All right, well, it's up to you or whatever." He's like, I wish Bob would have made you go to the hospital." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm fine now, right? It's over now." And he's like, "Yeah, but, like for insurance reasons or whatever, like if something happens later on, I wish Bob would have made you go to the hospital." And I'm like, "Well, it's over now." And I don't remember what. I had to go outside and do something. And I went and turned to walk out the main door, and it was Todd and his wife and then one of their salesmen were there. And Todd says, "Well, how bad is it?" And I was like, "It was bad." And he's like, "Show me." And the first time I had even seen it, right, I pulled up my shirt all the way up to where like my whole back of my shirt, everything was in the front, right? Just my arms are still through the sleeves in the back. And nobody said anything. Like, I pulled up, I expected them to say, "Oh, wow, that sucks. I can't believe you're..." No, there was 3 people standing there and nobody said a word for like minutes. And I remember looking back, and that was the first time that I could see it in a reflection. They had like a wall with a bunch of awards on it, and it was mirrored. And they were standing in front of that wall where the desk was. And no one said anything. I pulled my shirt back, and I looked back to see, why aren't they saying anything? And my whole back was black down one side, and the other side just had like cuts and scrapes and shit. And I had taken a shower this morning, and it fucking hurt. My whole back was black. And he's like, "No, we're going to the hospital right now. And I'm like, no, I'm already walking and shit now. And he's like, no, we're going to the hospital right now. Either you get in the truck, like his pickup truck, and I take you to the hospital to get checked out, or I'll call an ambulance. I was like, it can't be that bad. And he's like, it's that fucking bad. But nothing was broken. Nothing was crazy. But it was the worst I'd ever been hurt on the job, I think, ever in my life. I was fucked. And it hurt that first day, obviously, but it got so much worse. So he was trying to send me home that first day after that happened. Like 3 days after it happened, I couldn't get out of bed. Like I couldn't fucking move. I couldn't roll over. I couldn't lay on my stomach. I couldn't lay on my back. I could only lay on one side that wasn't injured. And I would just lay in the fucking bed. I couldn't move. It got so fucking sore. It was bad. But all I remember was feeling like a pinball machine coming down between the fucking vehicles. Almost like in slow motion. It's a wonder I didn't fucking break my neck or some shit. Oh, that's the same woman right there that just lays down and stays down. She did not get back up. We hope she's okay. I was launched out of a man lift into a cornfield one time. A man lift that was probably, the basket was probably 6 feet off the ground. But the way that the guy that I was teaching to drive a man lift drove off into basically like a little ditch. And the man lift probably went from 5 feet off the ground to about 10 feet off the ground and launched me out of it. And I didn't get hurt that fucking bad. Oh my God. Oh my God. No fucking way, dude. That little baby. That baby shouldn't be on the inlet. What if he just rocks and hits that baby's head on one of these poles or some shit? Or the baby's own head just snaps, right? They can barely hold their fucking head up. And then 2 kids out here by themselves, no life jackets. Dancing on the super yacht. That's the way to go through Haulover. They don't have an issue at all, dude. I need to get an accounting job at one of those nursing homes so I can steal $11 million to buy me a yacht and Trump will pardon me. How do you even feel when you got a bunch of women on and you're trying to show off that you own a boat, and then you get passed by a boat that's like 10,000 times more expensive than your boat? That may stop dead there. Jet skis are almost impossible to sink as well. Like I've had them pretty fucking covered in water, and you could have them completely underwater. They always pop back up. They're like a sealed hull or some shit. Oh, his engine died? I'm on a boat, motherfucker. Don't you ever forget it. The worst boat fails ever. Filmed a haul. Oh my God. Is that somebody? That was somebody's bikini top. No fucking way, dude. It was still tied. How hard do you have to hit something that your fucking bikini flies off? Look at that. It's still tit shaped. Like it's still got the shape of the tit in it. God damn. God damn. The fabric didn't even have time to relax. I think we saw this one. Don't a jet ski come pick her up? She's trying to hold her phone out of the water. I just don't remember seeing the bathing suit go first. That's one way to see titties, I guess. Oh shit, that's a little kid. I hate seeing the kids up front, dude. I don't think they should be right on the back either. I think they should be in the center. If anything, like right here by the guy driving and someone holding them that's in a chair. There's probably too many people on that boat. Welcome to Cold Boat Confessionals. There are easier ways. Are there less traumatic ways that are still legal? It always reminds me of that Turn Down for What video that went viral or whatever, where they're all like fucking bouncing on the boat or whatever, and dude just goes out cold. When I speed it up to get through it, like it doesn't seem as real, I guess. It looks almost fake. But even slowed, it looks fucked, dude. Is that's somebody's clothes? Surely that's not a person. Yeah. It's a big fucking boat, dude. I still don't understand the correct way to do this. Is it just gonna suck sometimes? Or maybe you don't go out when the water's this bad or something? How do you do this right? Oh, Grandma's gone, dude. Where the fuck is she? Oh, she just went down. I thought she fell out. She's just gone, dude. She disappears. It seems almost like they get into a rhythm that just keeps, every time they hit it, it's worse and worse and worse until they like break out of it. I've heard that about boats a bunch. Buy it and sell it or whatever. Yeah, it's listing hard. Look how low it's riding in the water, too. That can't be good. That one probably was too small. You're right. I think a lot of times people don't understand, like it looks like they just took on a little bit of water a lot of times, but they don't understand how much weight's in that fucking water, right? When you have a big, if it's not draining out like immediately, that's a lot of weight. And then it sloshes around constantly. So you might be listing hard to one side, get a wave, and it goes completely to the other side. That momentum goes with it. I think if I ever find this place, if I'm ever down there, I'm just going to watch people go in and out. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. Well, that was a dick move, dude. What are you doing? Damn, that was completely underwater. Look how it stops. Well, the windshield blown out. Damn. See, and you think these big boats like this wouldn't have any issue if the guy knew what they were doing. note is 3 guys, 1 girl. Okay. Okay, 2 guys, 1 girl. Be minus the guy. Be minus the full ass guy. What the fuck, dude? I think circling back around is probably more dangerous if you don't see him. I would like to see a whole MAGA boat parade in Haulover. Swam to the rocks and was okay. The water doesn't seem bad, right? You get knocked off the boat, you're in the water. That doesn't seem bad. I mean, like, I could swim and tread water for a long time. I hold my breath. It's all the other fucking boats. And then even swimming to the rocks. If the waves fucking crumple you up against the rocks. Oh my God, that's way too many people. Oh my God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people. 7 people. No, 8. I was right. All right. Not to sound super racist. How many of the 8 you think are strong swimmers? It does. Treading water does fuck with you. It's very hard to do. We did helicopter rollover simulators in a pool. It's fucking rough. That dude ain't fucking around. He's fixing to float, bro. You should really call 911, someone on the bank said.
Well, 911 will direct you to the coast guard.
I was looking for my radio to call it in. Yeah, it's going down, dude. The nose is underwater. Bro, what are you doing?
This is wavy boats at the Haulover jetty. Boats taking on a lot of water.
And look, about half their life jackets are back here. Oh, thank you. Kelly Tom 01. Thank you very much for the resubscription. I appreciate it. About half their life jackets are back here. Calling the Coast Guard. Seems like there's probably a lot of boats in the area, too.
I'm at Haulover Inlet on east side. We got a boat that's taking on a lot of water. It's full of people, and it's going down. This boat, don't think it's going to make it. Move a little bit to the right. Thank you.
One guy belling water with a drink cup. Don't they have a bilge pump or something? Since the nose is in the water, if it was me, now I don't know anything about boats. Since the nose is in the water, I'd probably put it in full reverse, right? Because the nose is in the water, and I would try pumping all the water out, I guess. I wouldn't keep trying to go forward, because the more forward you go, the nose is going down, and it's putting more water in the boat. But whatever.
We got a towboat out here right now. They just showed up on the scene.
Oh, thank God. If they rescued me with a Trump boat, I just had to pass. I can tread water. I see the pump going right there. After they got off of it, it looks a lot better, honestly. And I see a pump going. There's a couple guys that run a YouTube channel that rescue boats. Oh, we need to find that. They go out and they have these big ass transfer pumps where they just throw a fucking hose in your side and the pumps are pumping out a shit ton of water. And sometimes the boats are so badly damaged, like even while they're towing it in, they'll have it strapped to the side of their boat. They have to be pumping out water because it's like dead weight towards them. Damn. Boats are fucking strong, though. You think that would break a motherfucking boat in half. Getting hard like that. Or that one that landed right on its ass we were watching the other day. It's a lot of weight hitting the fucking water. I still don't know how to do it right. Because sometimes you'll be watching one of these and they'll be like getting fucked. And you'll see another boat beside them going through the exact same conditions and it's doing fine. So there's got to be some type of experience or some way to do this right. It's not all everybody just getting fucked over all the time. There's probably commercial people that come in and out of this every fucking day, multiple times a day. Damn, the waves just keep getting bigger. Look at that next one coming. Straight the fuck up. I don't know how we turned into a boat channel. They drove away from it, though. All right, this boat just looks like it would be an asshole driving it. I hope that guy Trump pardons changes the name of his boat to like the Pardoned or Pardon Money. Reparations refund. Damn, that's fucking intense. All right, we can't watch any more boats. Why you guys distract me with fucking boats? What we got? What we got? What we got? We got more. How about this answer? How about this answer to a Republican town hall?
When we're talking about the corrections in this reconciliation bill, again, it's corrections of overpayments and people that have not been eligible for these programs by law as it is currently written. So when you are arguing about illegals that are receiving Medicaid benefits,
They're not on a federal level, right? You have to have a Social Security number.
1.4 million, 1.4, they are not eligible, so they will be coming off. So people are not, well, we all are going to die.
So someone said, people are going to die, and she responds with, well, we're all going to die.
We all are going to die. So for heaven's sakes. For heaven's sakes.
For heaven's sakes, folks, everybody dies eventually. Do you even realize what the fuck you're saying? You're saying it's okay that if something you're doing directly causes people to die because everybody dies eventually. So like if I shoot somebody on the street and kill them unprovoked and the cops show up and say you killed this person, I say, well, we all die sometime. Everybody's going to die one day.
Folks, for heaven's sakes, folks.
That's a wrap. What's the point? F it. We're all going to die, in the words of Republican Senator Joni Ernst. We have come a long, long way from the party of Lincoln or the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. That jaw-dropping reveal of exhaustion and utter callousness from Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa was from a town hall she held earlier today.
By the way,
in Butler County.
Here's a story. A House passed reconciliation bill to reduce federal funding to states that provide state-funded health insurance to people in the U.S. illegally, resulting in 1.4 million people losing their coverage. State. So a state is doing a program that puts people on their state Medicaid that they pay for themselves. But President Donald Trump and Republican lawmakers have wrongly cast the bill as removing these immigrants from Medicaid. Medicaid is a joint federal and state government program that provides health coverage for low-income individuals and families. People living in the U.S. illegally are not eligible in any way, shape, or form to receive Medicaid benefits other than the same emergency service that we give to anybody, like life-saving care, right? Anybody can go get life-saving care. They're not going to let you die in a hospital because you're poor or an immigrant or here on visitation or whatever. If you go to a hospital, they have to at least get you stable. A state-funded program, by definition, is not Medicaid, says Leonardo Coelho, a research professor at the Georgetown University McCourt School of Public Policy Center for Children and Families, told us in an email. But in a May 16th Truth Social post encouraging Republican lawmakers to support a wide-ranging House budget bill, which makes changes to Medicaid and extends expiring income tax cuts, among other things, Trump said the legislation would remove from Medicaid millions of people illegally residing in the country. They're not on federal Medicaid benefits. Republicans must unite behind the one big beautiful bill, Trump's post reads. Not only does it cut taxes for all Americans, but it will kick millions of illegal aliens off Medicaid to protect it for those who are the ones in the real need. As for those tax cuts, about 80% of the households, not 100%, will receive them under the bill, according to estimates by the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center. To support his Medicaid claim, the White House sent us a May 13th social media post from the Republican-led House Committee on Energy and Commerce. That post on X about strengthening Medicaid by eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse, suggesting that 1.4 million illegal immigrants would lose Medicaid coverage as a result of the bill, according to a preliminary CBO estimate on coverage changes. So what are they actually doing? The federal government is saying to these states, if you run a program, if you as an individual state runs a program that helps illegal immigrants get health care, then we won't do our part to fund your Medicaid. So states will be forced to drop that from their own budgeted, they're paying for it themselves. It has nothing to do with the federal government.
Reveal of exhaustion and utter callousness from Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa was from a town hall she held earlier today in Butler County, where, keep in mind, 72% of the voters there voted for Donald Trump. They were receptive to whatever she was shoveling out there in the BS category.
Even
the
CBO says that an estimated 10.3 million Americans will lose health coverage by 2034 under this bill, and that even if we assume that some would retain or acquire other insurance, right, find a job or do something else to get insurance, they still, a rough estimate of 7.6 million people would become uninsured permanently. They're not going to find any other insurance. And they don't even claim the 1.4 million illegal immigrants because they're not on Medicaid, right?
Respond appropriately to that.
Sorry, I cut this up so many times.
We're all going to die.
Sakes.
For heaven's sakes, folks.
For heaven's sakes, folks.
Now, that's a wrap. What's the point? F it. We're all going to die, in the words of Republican Senator Joni Ernst. We have come a long, long way from the party of Lincoln or the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. That jaw-dropping reveal of exhaustion and utter callousness from Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa was from a town hall she held earlier today in Butler County, where, keep in mind, 72% of the voters there voted for Donald Trump. They were receptive to whatever she was shoveling out there in the BS category, and she couldn't even respond appropriately to them.
Nope, they don't have any fucking respect for you. They'll lie to your fucking face. It says the CBO analyzed provisions in a draft of the Energy Commerce Committee's portion of the House budget bill and said that in 2034, 1.4 million people would lose other coverage. And when you look at what that other coverage is, it's specifically health insurance through state-only funded programs. That's where they're getting the 1.4 million number from. People that haven't verified their citizenship, nationality, or satisfactory immigration status through state-only funded programs. That's crazy, right? Let the state do their own fucking... If the state wants to do it, let the state do it. What happened to states' rights? No, they're holding the state hostage to make them do what Trump wants them to do. And people will die, right? You might not like those people. You might think they're here illegally. Do they deserve the death penalty?
It's sad to me that you guys you're not patriotic to the country that you live in and we live in.
When it comes to D.C., Haley, you haven't been there near as much as I have.
Okay, we're done with that conversation.
Well, she thinks she knows more than me about Washington, D.C.
No,
it's bullshit.
Okay.
No one ever said that. Why do you... Hang on a minute. Dad, why do you... Wait, Mom. Mom, hang on one second.
Shut up.
Dad...
He fucking hates his kids, dude. There's no other excuse. He hates them.
I want to ask you this question. You immediately took that to this confrontational, adversarial level that was right. She thinks she knows more than me.
No, Haley immediately took it to a confrontation, saying that, oh, well, I haven't been to D.C. enough to know anything about it.
I didn't say that.
I've been there at least 10 or 15 times more than she has.
All right.
I simply asked, have you been to D.C.? Because if you haven't, I think you'd enjoy it.
Yeah. That is what she said. She said, have you guys seen the memorials in D.C.? And he said, yeah, I've been there. And she said, well, I was just going to say, I think you guys would enjoy it. Now it's a pissing contest. Who knows more about D.C.?
I enjoyed it.
He fucking hates his kids, doesn't he?
Attitude of just being like, you're stupid. I ain't saying anything else. And it's like, if he doesn't want to do this anymore, he does not.
This is where he quit.
I know. That's about where we're at, I'm afraid.
What?
If you don't want to do this podcast anymore, because all you do is argue and yell at everybody.
No, it's not. He doesn't even argue. I don't care about
argue and yell.
I have to hold the microphone for a minute.
I don't care if you argue and yell. Arguing and yelling is fine. That's what this is about to some degree. It's
what
about
are
us.
You yipping about?
I'm yipping about you're not arguing. You just now have gotten to this point where we're talking about something.
He does love Trump more than his kids, 100%.
And if you can't issue a...
One time they asked the mom, what about us, me and Haley? What about us? What if we end up getting deported or put in jail for the stuff we post on social media that we're anti-Trump? And she said, I hate that. I wish you guys would come get on our side. Not, it shouldn't happen. Not, no one should be arrested for freedom of speech. Not, you're allowed to be critical of the president. She said, I hate it. I wish you guys would be on our side.
To a point that you think is valid, you just kind of declare conversation over.
I think are valid.
What?
100% of my points are valid.
But so are Chad's, and so are mine, and so are Haley's.
Oh.
And you don't let us say anything and talk anymore.
Bullshit. That's all you do.
You end the conversation. You're about to do it right now.
My God, y'all don't see it my way.
You're about to do it right now. I saw you take a little deep breath and roll your eyes back in your little head. The thing we're trying to do here is have conversations about these different topics.
Okay, fine. Let's wrap this up.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
Damn.
Let me ask you this, Dad.
Pisses me off, dude.
Doesn't have to obey the Supreme Court.
Pisses me off so much.
Why do you think we have a Supreme Court?
There's no reason to.
You want to do away with it entirely?
Yes.
But wait a minute. You're a huge Constitution guy. You know that the Supreme Court...
and the Supreme Court doesn't follow the Constitution. So it should be eliminated.
How are they not following it?
This is the one I was trying to get to right here.
Dad, do you think that people who can afford to be members at his club or buy millions of dollars worth of his cryptocurrency should have special access to him above regular citizens?
Oh, absolutely.
So you want an...
Do you think that people should be able to pay to get access, personal access to the president? Pay him for access to him, right? We should all have a general level of access, right? And then there's going to be people that he has to deal with, right? But should you be able to be like, I have $1 million I will give to you if you'll listen to my idea, President? Absolutely.
An oligarchy.
I want him to run the show.
So you want an oligarchy? No, I just want him to run the show.
But you're open to the idea.
You can call it whatever you want.
Well, it's not what I want. It's what it is.
Yeah, there's no one better.
You can call it whatever you want. He's going to get this country straightened
Harambe.
out.
There's no one better to do what he's doing right now.
But do you not see, like,
there's no one better than to do what he's doing right now. And what they're talking about him doing right now is taking money, being paid money for favors.
Like the problem with him having...
I see
what
with my eyes
Dad,
open.
what you're doing right now, is what you just accused me of doing early in the show. Completely interrupting.
I have to do this or I don't get to talk.
That's not correct.
Oh, no, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll be number 1. I'll be number 2.
The question I'm trying to ask here is, do you see a problem with a president allowing ultra rich people to buy access to him?
It's hard to tell what's true and what's not.
No.
Do you see a problem with ultra rich people buying access to our president? No.
Do you think that anybody can love America and disagree with Donald Trump?
No.
Can you love America, the country, and disagree with Donald Trump? No.
Mom?
Dick's out for Harambe.
No, because he's our president.
But you guys disagreed with Barack Obama and Joe Biden when they were presidents. And you still loved America.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. We are Americans. Therefore, we disagree with everything they did and said.
So they disagree with Barack Obama and Joe Biden, but they love America because Barack Obama and Joe Biden are communists. But if you disagree with Donald Trump, then you cannot love America. You hate America.
Right. Now, can you at all, do you have the ability to put yourself...
I have the ability to do whatever I want to do.
Okay.
Because I live here.
Do you have this ability? Can you put yourself...
I don't have the ability to shut your little pie hole. And that's the first sign that is coming.
Oh, my God.
Can you put yourself in the...
This reminds me of Mariah's fucking grandpa so much. Mariah has family that doesn't believe or belittles the fact that I have mental health issues from being in the military, right? Even though, that's already approved. It's already service connected. It's already there, right? It's already in the paperwork. They belittle that fact and they talk down about like my issues and stuff and about me when I'm not around. They also have a neighbor who has the exact same condition that I have. The exact same. And they talk shit about me and who I am, right? And me and my mental health issues and our life issues and the stuff that we've got. But they have a neighbor that has the exact same condition that I do. They dropped everything one day because their neighbor was having an episode, took him to the VA hospital to check him in, took care of him, his house while he was gone, all like fucking catered to this guy's every need and took care of everything for him. And they for some reason they just talk shit about me all the time. And it's so weird. But that guy is a super, super Trump supporter, right? It's either Trump or it's communist. It's either America or it's not. It's either, and then they have the goddamn balls to ask Mariah why I don't come around and hang out with them. Why doesn't Will come around? Why isn't he ever over here? Like, it's insane, dude. The way they fucking, not to my face, they're terrified to say anything to my face. But when I'm not there, the way they fucking talk about me.
Of another person who sees the world differently than you.
Like, kind of like I'm a deadbeat. Like I'm just fucking, like I should just get over it and fucking not have mental health issues anymore, I guess.
No.
And you don't want to.
And I don't want to.
Because why is that? You fear it, I guess?
Because my vision of the world is the best vision for this world.
Makes sense. His vision of the world is the best vision of the world. Got it. But he's exactly like this guy. I think that's why I'm like obsessed with him. Don't tell the maggots. But there's a new study that's been published.
Oh my God, a new study on the brains of authoritarians. We have to talk about this. Right-wing authoritarians have less volume in the dorsomedial prefrontal cortex, and they have greater negative urgency. Negative urgency is the tendency to act rashly when distressed. The authors link this negative urgency to, quote, dogmatic, intolerant attitudes aimed at protecting one's identity and security, as well as aggressive behavioral tendencies. Now, the dorsomedial prefrontal cortex, what does that do? It is involved with fear and anxiety information processing. Oh my God, that one. Integrating social impressions, empathy, altruism, theory of mind, which is basically the ability to understand somebody else's way of thinking and feeling. Complex decision making, processing a sense of self, which is perhaps why right-wingers are less self-aware. Morality judgments.
Basically, the study said that the way their brain functions is they are scared of change and things that are different, and they lash out with anger and separation, solitude kind of deal.
And top-down motor cortex inhibition. So you see how all the pieces come together, right? More anxiety and more fear without the emotional intelligence to properly deal with it. Connected to a, you have to live my way, the way that I'm familiar with, or you're a threat style thinking, which is in part due to the inability to understand people who are different, and then acting rashly and aggressively towards that perceived threat. It's like that saying, when you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. When your brain is more often in fight or flight mode, everything seems like a threat. The authors also looked into left-wing authoritarianism and the anti-hierarchical aggression that they define as being part of left-wing authoritarianism correlated negatively with a cortical thickness cluster in the right anterior insula. And left-wing authoritarian tendencies broadly correlated with anxiety. So again, we see anxiety and fear connected with authoritarian tendencies. Now, the insula might be familiar because of this video, where in fact greater activity in the insula correlated with progressive views, which is the opposite of what we find with the left-wing authoritarianism. Its functions include compassion, empathy, taste, perception, motor control, self-awareness, we see this pop up again, cognitive functioning, interpersonal experience, and awareness of homeostatic emotions such as hunger, pain, and fatigue. So funny enough, in this way, left-wing authoritarians have an overlap with people on the right, which I think affirms my interpretation of the data, which is that left-wing authoritarianism doesn't really exist. It is in fact an off-branch of right-wing authoritarianism. It's just accompanied by left-wing sounding talking points. Because you can't be authoritarian and anti-hierarchy.
Their brains are different, bro. I want to see what Good Trouble said about this.
So, people are not, well, we all are going to.
Do you see what she almost said there? The comment to her was, people are going to die. And she says, people are not going... But she can't finish that. She knows people are going to die. What does she respond with? Everybody's going to die. She almost said people are not going to die, but she knows that's a lie. Break it. Yeah, break out the crayons, right, Rob?
I'm sure you've seen that by now. That's Joni Ernst.
I'm embarrassed. I consider myself extremely smart, right? I was like in the super gifted program. They wanted me to like skip grades and shit. I set a record on the fucking military ASVAB test, right? I had a perfect score in ACT, wasted it all. Like, I didn't do anything with it. So, I'm not, like, smart like someone that's college educated, right? I just fucking pissed it all away. But I'm embarrassed by the amount of conservative talking points that I consumed and repeated at one time.
Defending cuts to Medicaid, which Republicans swear up and down are not happening. Why she's defending it then, who knows? By saying we're all going to die eventually, so just deal with it. I'm so curious. This begs the question, if Joni would just give up her government-supplied health insurance and just raw dog life without any safety net like she is demanding her constituents and all other Americans to do. I'm so fucking curious to know the answer to that question, Joni. She is tacitly admitting that cuts to this program are going to cost Americans lives. That is all that you can read from this. This woman doesn't deserve to hold a fucking driver's license, much less public office. This is the disdain that she has for people whom she represents. And it's not just her. It's every fucking senator that votes for this bill. They are acknowledging the harm it's going to cost to 10 or 15 fucking million Americans. The peril that it's going to put humans and families in. They are doing this, and they don't give a fuck about you.
Damn. Did you guys see Elon's black eye? You went to the farm when you were 12? Look out. Did you guys see Elon's black eye? He got into a fight with Scott Bessent.
So Elon Musk was just spotted with a black eye inside the Oval Office after reports that he got into a physical fight with Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The Daily Mail had reported that Elon...
Now, what do you think Elon's excuse for his black eye is? If you know, don't say anything. But if you don't know, what do you think his excuse for his black eye was? His excuse was that he asked his son to punch him in the face, and he did. His tiny little son, X. He said, I asked little X to punch me in the face, and he did. And gave him that full-grown man a black eye.
Elon Musk's swift departure from Doge in the White House was escalated by an outburst that turned violent, according to none other.
You know that's why he jumps. Somebody just says he has such an unhealthy relationship with the letter X. He jumps to form the letter X with his body. You know how when you see him cheering on the stage with Trump and he jumps and throws his hands up? He's trying to form the letter X with his body as branding.
Than Steve Bannon, who said that Elon Musk physically shoved the 62-year-old Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent after he was confronted over his wild promises to save the administration $1 trillion.
So basically they were sitting around talking shit to each other about the bill because Elon Musk doesn't like the big, beautiful bill. He was on the news saying that a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but it can't be both. And the host is like, well, they just wiped away everything you do with Doge. He's like, yeah, I know. Wasn't very happy to see that, right? I wasn't very happy to see the big, beautiful bill. So behind the doors, they're talking shit back and forth because Elon doesn't like the bill. And then Scott Bessent says, well, you're the guy that came in and said you're going to save $2 trillion out of the budget. Remember? You're nowhere close. $100 billion and nobody can find anything. What are you doing? And then he shoved him and then he got a black eye.
Bessent apparently called Musk out and said, you promised us $1 trillion in cuts and now you're at like $100 billion and nobody can find anything. What are you doing? And that's when Elon got physical. It's a sore subject with him. It wasn't an argument. It was a physical confrontation.
That's what people around him are claiming, that he does the jump for branding.
Elon basically shoved him. Bannon said that Trump 100% sided with Bessent after the clash, saying, I don't think Bessent has any bad blood, but he's got a job to do and he's going to do it. And news of the confrontation was confirmed by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, who said, it's no secret Trump has put together a team of people who are incredibly
something wrong with my contact
about the issues impacting our country. Disagreements are a normal part of any healthy policy process, and ultimately everyone knows they serve at the pleasure of Trump. Elon, meanwhile, was asked about the black eye during this pleasure of Trump.
But just as her was due to exit, he broke ranks by publicly trashing the administration's big, beautiful domestic bill.
Elon, meanwhile, was asked about the black eye during this Oval Office press conference, and he blamed it on his kid. He said that little X, the name of his kid, did this because he asked him to punch him in the face, and the kid obliged. Okay. Anyway, I think this Daily Mail reporting is giving us a bit more insight into what actually happened here. Remember to add the Midas Touch podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify for more. So
that's insane. Secret physical bra behind Musk's demise. I don't know that it had anything to do with his demise. I think he was already on his way out, right? There's no way he was ever getting $2 trillion, right? Even what they claim right now, half of it's fucking lies and bullshit, or just shit they don't like.
In a television interview, criticized the one big, beautiful bill.
Disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
I actually thought that when this big, beautiful bill came along. I mean, like, everything he's done on Doge gets wiped out in the first year.
I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both. My personal opinion.
What's your reaction to that?
Well, the reaction's a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes, so we can't be cutting. We need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was, we have no Democrats. If it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. If that doesn't get approved, this country is going to have a 65% increase in taxes and lots of other problems, big problems, almost bigger than that.
Yeah, because, people will be paying their fair share in taxes. I don't care if it expires. I know it affects me by like $300 a year or whatever. I don't care. Expire that motherfucker. The people that are on the edge of their seat about it, the people that are on the edge of their seat about it are the people that it is saving them hundreds and thousands of millions of dollars. Not us. You're going to notice $300 or $500 or $600 over a year? Really? You think you are?
But we'll have a 65% increase as opposed to the largest tax cut in the history of our country. We will be negotiating that bill, and I'm not happy about certain aspects of it, but I'm thrilled by other aspects of it. That's the way they go. It's very big. It's the big, beautiful bill, but the beautiful is because of all of the things we have. The biggest thing being, I would say, the level of tax cutting that we're going to be doing. We're going to make people really be able to, we'll have the lowest tax rate we've ever had in the history of our country, and tremendous amounts of benefit are going to the middle income people of our country, low and middle income people of our country. So we're going to see what happens, because the Senate, as you know, is negotiating with us, and they have to then go back to the House, and, you know, it's got a way to go. But I have to say, Speaker Johnson and Thune have done an incredible job. John Thune has done a fantastic job, and they're working together with me and others. And I think we have an amazing, if we pull this off, remember, we have 0 Democrat votes because they're bad people. There's something wrong with them.
They're bad people, right.
Let people pour into our country. Single biggest problem is we had 21 million people pour into our country, probably higher than that. And they're people that weren't supposed to be here. And many of those people are bad. Murder.
I'm looking for a video to show you guys. You're wondering why I'm...
The mentally insane. They were closing mental institutions all over the world, not South America, all over the world. They're coming into our country, and we're getting them out. And we're having a hard time because some judges aren't making it very easy for us, and it's tough enough. They approved that. They allowed that to happen to our country. We don't have one Democrat vote. And if I were a Democrat, I'd be voting for this bill, and I'd get elected to any position I want as a Democrat. They're crazy. They're voting for a 65% tax increase, and they're only doing it for hatred. They're not doing it for any reason. They know it's terrible.
Are there reasons to oppose this bill or no?
So we have no Democrat votes. That means we have to get almost
none
Republican votes. And I think we're very close to doing that. I think it'll be very successful.
And honestly,
Mr. President,
they're cheating at that, right? They're doing it under reconciliation, which only requires a simple majority both ways, right? So they're even cheating at that, to get these other things that are passed that are usually not covered under reconciliation. I'm trying to look for... There was a video I wanted to show you guys. I'll grab another one just so we're not sitting here with dead air, but there's one that went over, the guy did a really good job of just putting out there every quintile of people and how it's going to affect your taxes if the bill passes. Versus if it stays the same, you just wouldn't have those things. It's not much. I'll tell you that much. It's not much. I'll be looking. Let me grab something else while I'm looking at it. Looking for it. Jordan Peterson versus Jordan B. Peterson.
I'm Dr. Jordan Peterson.
I'm Dr. Jordan B. Peterson.
How do you know the difference?
The B stands for beard.
Fair enough.
Do you believe in farts?
What do you mean by believe?
Are they real?
Okay, I don't think that's knowable.
What can you tell me about farts?
I can only tell you the consequences of having released to the world.
You're talking about the smell?
Obviously.
Do farts smell?
That's a complicated question.
How would you answer?
You have to go all the way to the bottom.
The bottom?
So we can just see a crack.
Define crack.
In the hole.
Very impressive.
I'm not trying to be impressive.
Pitch me an idea for a TV show.
So Job is a good man.
It's a good edit.
Taken away from it.
So Job in this instance is the good man.
I said yeah. I didn't say the.
What do you believe means?
Well, it depends on what you mean by belief.
Well, it's complicated.
You're really quite something.
Define something.
What's your point?
Define point.
You're not making an argument.
Define argument.
Don't be a smartass.
But isn't that our whole shtick?
I have no idea.
What you and I do is vomit out meaningless letters like regurgitated alphabetic spaghetti.
Somewhat.
Hypothetically speaking.
I can't answer a hypothetical.
What if I took you to a restaurant that only served alphabeti spaghetti.
I wouldn't be in that scenario.
Do you accept that alphabeti spaghetti exists?
Oh, yes.
Do you accept that spoons exist?
Yes.
So what would you say to me if I force-fed you a spoonful of alphabeti spaghetti?
Sure. Don't put words in my mouth.
Dr. Peterson.
That's a pretty good edit from the Jubilee TikTok. This is the one I was going for.
The Big Beautiful Bill and its impact on your income. To bring you up to speed, the Big Beautiful Bill has passed the House and is now under consideration by the Senate, which I think now is the time to ask and answer the question, okay, if this actually passes, what will be the tangible impact to the average American's annual income? Thankfully, the University of Pennsylvania, specifically the Penn Wharton budget model, answers this question with, at this point, our best estimates to help you understand, okay, if this goes through based on the tax cuts, based on the spending cuts, and all the other things in the bill, what will be the actual impact to your annual income? The way that they answer this question is by dividing Americans into 5 different income categories, and then they give a dollar amount as well as a percentage change to help you understand the impact. Before we dive into the data, please take a moment to hit that follow button, but without further ado, for those in the lowest quantile, which is just a fancy way to say fifth, making $0 to $17,000 a year, they will see an impact in annual spending of negative $820. So negative is bad in this case, and a percentage change of negative 14.6%. This is the biggest percentage change out of all income quantiles. For those in quantile 2, making $17K to $51K a year, they will see negative $430 in annual income and a negative 1.1 percentage change. For those in income quantile number 3, making $51,000 to $93,000 a year, they'll see plus $840 or a percentage change of positive 1.1%. For those in the 4th quantile, making $93,000 to $174,000 a year, they'll see an income change of plus $3,000 a year or a 2.2% increase. For the 5th and final quantile, this is people making above $174,000 a year. They do get more granular. They go by percentages, like those making 80 to 90% compared to others, and those making 90 to 95%. Just to share a taste, I'll only be sharing those that fit in the income category of 80 to 90%. That would include those making $174,000 to $263,000 a year. They'll see plus $5,515 or percentage change of 2.6%. The rest of them, I'm not going to go through them, but they're all positive.
Well, I got them for you. So let's pause this at the top here.
They'll see plus 5,515.
So again, negative, they've actually updated this. It depends on what year you're looking at. But for 2026, okay? For 2026, the first quintile, negative 940. The second quintile, negative 580. So that if you're making under $50,000 a year, it's gonna cost you more. Okay. Okay. Then the middle quintile, 815. He's got it listed as 840. 815 you'll save per year. That's from 51,000 to 93,000. Okay. 93,000 to 174,000, $3,000 per year. Okay. Do you think the people from 93,000 to 174,000 really need that extra $3,000 per year? Right? That's making an extra $200 a month or something? $250 a month? Anyways, once we get up above $175,000 a year, I stopped caring whether they need, that extra $5,795.
Fridge Makara's subscription. An anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to Fridge Makara.
Thank you very much for the gifted sub. I appreciate that. All right, so now we go to the 90 to 95%. These are people that are making $195,000 to $296,000. No, that's still wrong. $263,000 to $296,000. They will be making an extra $8,500. $388,000 to $436,000. Extra $20,000. An extra $20,000. Okay? $988,000 a year to $1.1 million a year, an extra $45,000. And the top 0.1%, will be getting back $390,310. But why the fuck? $800 over 12 months is fucking bullshit, right? You're not even going to notice that. $800 spread out over a year is like $60 a month. You probably waste that already. Okay? You probably waste that already. $60 a month. If you're in that group, if you're in that 51 to 93,000, right? Under 100K. These groups that are scraping by for every fucking penny, it's going to cost them more. They don't have an extra $60 a month to put in. If you're making less than 60K, you don't have an extra $60 a month. You're literally paycheck to paycheck and probably negative a lot of times. Same thing with up to 51K. That's an extra $30-some a month. You don't fucking have it. If you're in this bracket, in this economy right now, from 17K to 51K. But when we start getting up to people that are making like $250,000, they not only do they have it, but now we're giving them an extra $5,000 a year. Everybody's getting a tax break. Everybody's going to love it. You're going to love it. It's horrible. I don't know what to say other than they're fucking us over for the rich. They're fucking us over for the rich. And that's where we stand so far. We had this banger came out.
They say Trump always chickens out. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. No, I'm not the chicken. You're the chicken. 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 I'm the chicken. Mr. President,
I'm honestly not. I don't care a bit. Trump keeps saying, "Oh, if they expire, people are going to be." I would rather them expire at this point. Even if I'm in that lowest group of getting like $800 extra, okay. If that means that everybody can stay on their Medicaid and all the shit that you're trying to get rid of already, I don't need that $800 in that group.
I'm not the chicken. Every time you set up a tariff, I'm not the chicken. Wall Street betting against them. Betting against them. Betting against. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco.
Sarasota, fuck out of here.
Always chickens out. I'm not the chicken. I'm not the chicken. I'm not the chicken. I'm not the chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. They say taco. They say chicken. They say taco. They say Trump always chickens out. No, I'm not the chicken.
Not to mention, we're going to lose between 345% to 461% of estate taxes. Like, they're making gigantic provisions for estate taxes to pass them on. That's another thing that overwhelmingly affects the wealthy, right? How many of you guys are waiting on this, your parents to die so you could get a new estate? And not have to pay taxes on it. Let's go to my profile. I found money in a safe, and I don't know what to do with it. You can watch this video.
Pile of money.
I think I had an idea. I was wondering how to save it, even though it's not a lot of money. It's probably like $30, right? Somewhere between, it might actually be 40 because there was 2 clips of it. And usually we kept these ones to where you could throw a 20 in and take a clip of money in it. So it's probably 40, maybe $45. It's not a lot of money. This isn't the whole pile, but people were making fun of like it wasn't much money. But I thought about just saving it just to see if I could fucking save it, right? Just to have the process of trying to save it. But now I'm thinking I might put it in a shadow box. Like after we're recovered and all this shit, I might take some other pieces that I found from the flood and put it in a shadow box, like a picture frame, and do that with it. I don't know, but it's some of it's like soup. It's been wet for so long.
Okay. It was in
Look at that.
a safe during Helene that was underwater, and I was just now able to find the safe, unlock it with a key. The keypad was dead. Is there any saving this money? What do I do?
I know it doesn't look like a bunch of money, but in these stacks, some of them's like 10, some of them's like fucking 12 or 6 or 7 that are like glued together. It looks like it's like 5 bills, right? It's not.
I've heard if you have at least 51% of a bill, you can turn that bill in and get it replaced, right?
You can from the Federal Reserve, as long as you have 51%. So that way you can't cheat. Right.
The problem is, like, you can't pull this stuff apart. It just falls apart, and that's multiple bills. There's probably like 5 or 6 bills there. There's probably 3 or 4 in that one. This one's at least 3, and it just crumbles. What do I do? How do I turn in? I mean, I know it's not that much, but is there any saving this or no? It's just gone. This.
I think I might make a shadow box out of it, like something to do with the flood, maybe. I don't know, but I did get it out of the safe, and I probably got $200 worth of change out of the safe too. That was like it was where we literally kept the change at the campground for our cash register, like when you needed to break 100 or get ones for a 20 or whatever. That's where it's from. But it's liquefied, dude, and I'm drying it out right now to see if that helps any. But it was already pretty dry. And like it made it so thin, you can't even pull the bills apart. They just fucking disintegrate. It's insane. There you go. That's what we got going on so far. We saw the thing where it said Elon Musk was stepping away from politics, right? Unless he sees a reason to donate, he's not going to be fucking donating anymore or whatever. I saw something earlier about they had released new stuff about the FBI or the Trump would-be assassin. Thomas Matthew Crooks had a lot on his mind. January 2024, the 20-year-old who 6 months later would open fire at President Trump at Pennsylvania campaign rally, striking his ear and killing an audience member, was busy polishing his applications to transfer from community college to a 4-year engineering program. Crooks was gathering transcripts and asking friends to review his personal statement. That's so weird. To have this big thing, like you're right on the verge of like a life changing, and you decide to. He had to know he's going to die doing this, right? Crooks was gathering transcripts and asked his friend to review his personal statement. He was also designing a bomb. He ordered more than 2 gallons of nitromethane from an online specialty fuel retailer using an encrypted email account. Documents obtained by CBS News show. 12 days later, Crooks' purchase hadn't shipped, and he wanted to know why. Hello, my name is Thomas. I placed an order with your website on January 19th. I have not received any updates on the order shipping out yet, and I was wondering if you still have it and when I can expect it to come. Crooks emailed the retailer, Hyperfuels, at 7:44 a.m. on January 31st, 2024. Crooks used his community college email account to inquire about the shipping, one of the few operational missteps that has allowed for a rare look into the dark side of his ambitious young student. 2 weeks later, after the nitromethane email, on February 13th, Crooks' focus returned to his academic future, planning a video call he labeled "Proofread My Pit Personal Essay with Friends Prior to Class." Very little is known about how or why Thomas Crooks set out to shoot then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Now emails, essays, and other documents reviewed by CBS News are offering a fresh glimpse into the mind of a young man who is simultaneously planning two irrevocable, I don't know why I froze up on that, futures. In one, Crooks continues his engineering studies, for which he was lauded by professors for his work ethic, progress, and class contributions. In the other, he hurtles towards an act that he must have known would end in either prison or, as it did on July 13th, 2024, his death. He was a meticulous and motivated student attending community college after scoring a 1530 on the SATs record show. He told an advisor he was starting at the school to save money before transferring. In the hundreds of college emails obtained by CBS News, Crook rarely veers into personal territory with a few exceptions. When an upcoming assignment required the presence of 5 adults, he asked the professor if it would be okay if he only bought 2 or 3. Crook said that that other than his sister and his parents, he did not have access to any other adults. Crooks wrote a passage for a school on why his favorite season is the fall on January 30th, the day before he contacted Hyperfuels. The passage, penned in various colors, mused on his love for football and his 2 favorite holidays, Halloween and Thanksgiving. He waxed poetic about the fall weather and asked, who doesn't love the changing color of the leaves? Crooks took his classwork seriously, routinely contacting professors to protest if he wasn't satisfied with his grade. After taking a math exam in which he errantly mislabeled a variable, Crooks asked if he could get the point back. The teacher agreed to give him 75% credit for the question. Sounds good, Crooks replied. That should be enough to give me an A. Crooks did A-level work in most of his courses, according to his transcripts. Emails show professors were often impressed by his dedication. Thanks again for your contribution to class this term. Wouldn't have been the same without you, wrote an English professor in December of 2022. One project in particular wowed professors in the engineering department. Crooks, whose mother is visually impaired, designed a 3D printed, unique chessboard. The prototype included braille labeling along the rows and columns and alternating raised squares with peg holes to prevent the pieces from being knocked over, as Crooks described it. Former engineering professor Todd Landry recalls the small department's staff marveling at the project. It was above and beyond what anybody expected, Landry said. Patricia Thompson, who taught the class, said she still thinks about Crooks' projects. She also described it as above and beyond expectations. It's sad that he had so much promise and he chose to do this. It's just very difficult to understand where it came from, Thompson said. Crooks was focused on engineering and computing while at the community college, but a handful of written assignments show hints of a deep skepticism of the federal government and corporations. A prompt asking students to consider whether engineers involved in NASA's 1986 Challenger disaster acted ethically yielded a dubious reply. Crooks blamed NASA's administrators, who, in pushing for the ill-fated launch, were trying to live up to the lofty promises they made to Congress, which they were never going to be able to fulfill. For a 2022 English assignment, Crooks wrote about George Orwell's essay, Shooting an Elephant. Crooks called the essay a powerful allegory warning against adopting imperialistic policies. The writing maintains its significance as the theme in it apply to every form of tyrannical government, many of which still exist today, and continue to send young men, much like Orwell, to carry out the dirty work of the empire, Crooks wrote. Crooks wrote about Mr. Trump at least once. The essay was called Why Nuclear Energy is the Key to a Cleaner Future, and Crooks briefly touched on the proliferation of nuclear weapons, criticizing a decision Mr. Trump made during his first term. To prevent hostile nations from acquiring nuclear technology, America and its allies can stop sales of the technology to those nations and can enter into mutually beneficial agreements like the Iran deal, which effectively halted the nation's nuclear program until President Trump withdrew from it. His writing also, at least once, focused in part on then-President Biden. Crooks reviewed a 2020 opinion column that ran in the Washington Post, concluding that it persuasively argued against Mr. Biden's support for tuition-free community college. Liberals also tend to be in favor, he's calling them liberals. Liberals also tend to be in favor of community college and, in fact, free college in general, Crooks wrote. So it is very interesting to see an author try to convince the other side using their pre-existing political concerns rather than trying to impress their own onto them. And we saw that he was looking up like which one were going to come closer to him kind of deal, right? While Crooks showed an advanced ability to reason and persuade, he often struggled with spelling and grammar errors. Several essays and work assignments were returned to him asking him to make corrections to his work. By the way, both of those had grammatical errors in them. I just skipped over them. A nitromethane purchase invoice lists a separate email account from a Belgian-based service that offers end-to-end encryption. FBI Pittsburgh special agent in charge, Kevin Rojak, told reporters in August that Crooks had researched nitromethane and other materials consistent with the manufacturing of explosive devices. Rojak indicated agents accessed multiple overseas-based encrypted email accounts used by Crooks, who did not use explosives during this attack. So lots of people have like burner emails and encrypted emails to do shit. I don't think that's that crazy, but I think that's what Trump's talking about when he's like, he had foreign apps on his phone because, Trump doesn't understand anything about technology. A Hyperfuels employee asked about Crooks' purchase last year, said the company was aware of the whole situation. The company's president did not respond to phone or text messages. Crooks' transcript and certain other academic records were first made public by America First Legal, a nonprofit founded by Stephen Miller, a longtime aide to Trump, who is now White House Deputy Chief of Staff. Oh, we need to look up that too. Hold on just a second. So apparently the other rumor coming out of the White House is that Elon Musk is in a throuple with Stephen Miller and his wife. And in this throuple, that Elon is now leaving the White House and taking Stephen Miller's wife with him to SpaceX. So Elon's new baby, maybe Stephen Himmler's kid.
Now, Elon Musk is taking Stephen Miller's wife. Stephen Miller, a.k.a. Pee Wee German. Can we start calling him that, Pee Wee German? I think it works. And in case you missed that, I have a quick update for you on it. But Stephen Miller, it was discovered, was rage tweeting at...
Doge cuts are discretionary spending, e.g. the federal bureaucracy under Senate budget rules. You cannot cut discretionary spending, only mandatory in a reconciliation bill. So Doge cuts would have to be done through what is known as a rescissions package on appropriations bill. The big beautiful bill is not an annual budget bill and does not fund the departments of government. It does not finance our agencies or federal programs. Instead, it includes a single largest welfare reform in American history. So Stephen Miller's mad that Elon Musk is mad about the big beautiful bill, basically.
Elon Musk, Stephen Miller's wife, tweeted about...
Katie Miller says, this is Stephen Miller's wife. Doge is a way of life like Buddhism. Musk said Wednesday night of his imminent shift in focus to running his companies. Adding... Oh, shit, I missed the rest of it.
Musk, Stephen Miller's wife...
Adding that he believes he's built up a system that can survive longer term.
Wife tweeted about...
And she changed her profile picture to a SpaceX rocket. Or her, not her profile picture, but her background picture on Twitter.
Elon and Donald Trump went after Elon without even mentioning his name. First, in case you missed it, rumors swirl as Stephen Miller's wife leaves White House to work for Elon Musk. Here is the background. One of President Donald Trump's aides, who is also the wife of top staffer Stephen Miller, is following Elon Musk out of the White House to work full-time for the tech mogul. Katie Miller...
To be fair, if I was in Trump's White House, I would hate it. But let's say I was in Trump's White House and I had Elon there too, and Elon was leaving to go to private industry. I would probably go to private industry, right? Trump's term's 4 years, right? And then he's done and everybody hates you or whatever. If you go there, you might have a job for life, and it might be a decent job. I don't know.
Miller has been working as a top advisor and spokesperson for the Department of Government Efficiency, not really a department, not really efficient, but 3 sources familiar with the matter told CNN that she was leaving the government to work for Musk. She had been working as a special government employee, blah, 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 and then she had to go, okay? And it says here, Miller's exit sparked speculation about her marriage to the president's deputy White House chief of staff and sent the word throuple trending on social media. Here's just one quote: if you think you've made poor life decisions. There is a woman who not only married Stephen Miller, she left him for Elon Musk. Someone else said, if you thought Stephen Miller hated immigrants before, yeah, Well, Donald Trump was asked about Elon Musk, who criticized Donald Trump's bill. And here's what Donald Trump said about that. And notice what he does not say. And also, clock Judge Jeanine Pirro over here saying to herself, when is this piece of shit ever going to stop talking?
Well, the reactions, a lot of things. Number one, we have to get a lot of votes, so we can't be cutting.
How weird of a love triangle. Stephen Himmler, his wife, and Elon Musk on his 15th kid.
We need to get a lot of support, and we have a lot of support. We had to get it through the House. The House was, we have no Democrats. You know, if it's up to the Democrats, they'll take the 65% increase. You know, if that doesn't get approved. All
right, so he literally, this is a 3-minute clip. A 3-minute, your time in your life is too precious to listen to this man speak for longer than 10 seconds. It actually might be more precious than the 10 seconds are worth. But suffice to say, what happens or doesn't happen in this clip is that Donald Trump never mentions Elon Musk, never says his name, never mentions the fact that Elon Musk took a swipe at him. So to me, that really says that this thing is bubbling under. This man is a volcano, and at one moment he's going to...
Here's what I wouldn't put past Himmler, right? Him using his wife to spy on Elon Musk in the Doge department and saying, hey, fuck him, I don't care. And doing the exact same thing, but closer with him at SpaceX.
Blow. And as I did say, that Judge Jeanine was looking at him like, what is going on? It's just like daydreaming.
She's wine drunk.
She's trying to be anywhere but there. Stephen Miller rage tweeted at Elon Musk indirectly, but this is about Elon Musk and the fact that he was talking badly about Trump's key legislative agenda. Now, Elon Musk is taking Stephen.
And then the last thing I want to show you, you know how I feel about the Diddy shit, right? It's funny to read, but it's like fucking disgusting, right? It's like crazy fucking out there, like beating each other and fucking, it's so weird, right? While he's in the cuck chair. There is a non-zero chance that Trump is considering a Diddy pardon. Donald Trump certainly would consider clemency for Sean Combs as old pal faces sex trafficking trial and life behind bars. Sean Diddy Combs is facing life behind bars if found guilty of the ongoing sex trafficking trial, but old pal Donald Trump on Friday hinted he could be the all about the Benjamins performer's pardoning guardian angel, maybe. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, Trump said in Oval Office when asked if he would pardon Combs. It would have an impact. It wouldn't have an impact on me, Trump added, teasing the situation out as he loves to do. Listening to his defense lawyer, Brian Steele, cross-examine his former personal assistant, Mia Combs, was in court in New York City today, as he has been for almost every hearing since being arrested last fall and since the criminal trial started on May the 12th. How is MAGA going to spin this? That it's not really him, that Diddy's giving up all the names for all the Democrats, or how are they going to spin it? They need to lose their fucking mind on this.
They're wasting a lot of money if they're going to continue with that nonsense.
And this one's a little bit more of a page 6 question, but back when you hosted The Apprentice, you mentioned once in 2012 that Diddy was a good friend of yours back then. He has since found himself in some very serious legal trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you ever consider pardoning him?
Well, nobody's asked. You had to be the one to ask, Peter. Nobody's asked, but I know people are thinking about it. I know they're thinking about it. I think some people have been very close to asking. First of all, I'd look at what's happening, and I haven't been watching it too closely, although it's certainly getting a lot of coverage. I haven't seen him. I haven't spoken to him in years. He used to really like me a lot, but I think when I ran for politics, he sort of that relationship busted up from what I read. I don't know. He didn't tell me that, but I'd read some little bit nasty statements in the paper all of a sudden. You know, it's different. You become a much different person when you run for politics and you do what's right. I could do other things, and I'm sure he'd like me, and I'm sure other people would like me, but it wouldn't be as good for our country. As we said, our country's doing really well because of what we're doing. So it's not a popularity contest. So I don't know. I would certainly look at the facts. If I think somebody was mistreated, whether they like me or don't like me, it wouldn't have any impact on me.
Just so you know, I'm not making it up. That was an actual video quote of him. I don't know, guys. That is a bridge too far. It should be. But I've said that before, right? I've said, oh, you know, they can't, you know, turn this around. They can't keep supporting him. They can't keep doing this. Who the fuck knows? All right, guys. I'm out. Thank you all for joining us. Consider supporting the show at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. All the donation links are there. Find my links to other social media sites at the top if you want to follow me everywhere in case I get banned. That seems to happen. Hasn't happened in a while, but it used to happen all the fucking time. But I have all the social media links there. Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, TikTok, Rumble, Discord, and Bovada. You can also donate there if you want to support the show and help us pay the bills. The easiest link to use is the one at the bottom. Just the yellow donate button. It's just a straight PayPal link, and I'll get an email, and it doesn't pop up on the screen. Some people don't want their names up on the screen or their donation or whatever. So that's like this no alerts. These other ones pop shit up on the screen if we're live. If we're not live, I try to remember to thank people the next day. So thank you for those who have donated, and I appreciate it. If you want to support the show, that's how you do it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye. That's the wrong song. I'll get it in a minute. There you go, guys. Thank you.
I'll tell you this about if this douchebag happens to see this particular show, you don't have the fork and balls to call out the people on this planet by name and tell them exactly who they are and tell them the rest of the world who they are. You don't have the fork and balls. You don't have the balls.
Okay, Scott.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Listen off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believers? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord, head to the extreme. All these false fucking prophets who profit off of gossip. Worshipping drums, cocking, begging for a throat deposit. Swinging fucking meat hammers like Thor in a thong. He's strapped to the shaft, beating his chest like he's King Kong. Starving for attention, I'ma make your gut burst. I'll be your huckleberry, I can quench that thirst. Baby eating lizard people, alien sex. What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk. A retard in a vest, climbing up 5G towers. Cause you told him if he did, he'd get fucking superpowers.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit.
What's a plosive? Those are the P's that you say into a mic, and they pop. Plosive. Plosive. If your mic isn't set up right, it makes a popping noise when you say P's.
Open his closet, I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped it to my shoes and then I flew through the roof. I found myself in orbit strapped to an F-16. High on amphetamine with Trump in between. Put on a light coat of baby oil and saluted the troops. He tapped me on the shoulder and said, "This is gonna be it." Whoa, wait. Stop. What? I'll get my files. Wait, what are you doing? Stop. Hold on. Fucking stop. Dude, come on. Seriously. My mom's an alcoholic. Oh, give me a... Oh, my God. Damn it.
Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. Here we go, I think I started some shit. Piss them off, it's about to get lit. Get the place in the best, you know that stage is set. You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet.
Round 3. Down goes Nino. Please say it isn't so. Got him backed up on the ropes, trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was doing so well. It's all over. Hands on his shoulders, they ringing his bell. You got Frog News Network doing no damn research. They be working copy on Cox that came first. 9th inning, second string, and they acting like they know hitters. Assholes throwing bullshit, shit and runs to the shitter. All this nonsense on my conscience. It's hard to